Hey everybody, it's Greg again. It's another edition of Unbreakable the podcast. It is Tuesday, November 18th, and we have a special birthday today. Before we talk Eagles and Phillies, of course, what else do we talk about on this show? We have a special birthday. Now, I'm going to give you a hint before I tell you whose birthday it is, okay? See if you can guess whose birthday is today. You ready? MICICU KEY. Why? Because we love you. MOUSE. Yes, it's Mickey Mouse's birthday. The old fart. 97 today. 97. Can you imagine Mickey Mouse like in a nursing home or something? Nurse, I have to use the bed fan. Nurse. Oh. Anyway, I was always like afraid of Mickey Mouse. I always thought, to me, when you're a kid, he's like a giant rat. He's like from New York or something, a giant rat. That, we went to Disney a ton. And I was always on the lookout for the side eye, for Mickey Mouse. Where's he's coming around the corner? Had my map of Disneyland with me, my popcorn and my rat poison. He'd come up to you like, "Hi, little fella. Hi, little handicap boy. Hi, little, get away from me." And I'd always give him the cross, like this. Stay away. Hi, little fella. Do you want me to pick you up? I can pick you up. No, leave me alone. And then he'd always have Goofy with him. Anyway, so happy birthday, Mickey Mouse. Yeah, he doesn't look a day over 96, does he? 97. 97 for the mouse. All right, let's talk some Eagles. I haven't been on since the game. And, Eagles. I tell you, what defense Sunday? Huh? What defense? That defense could take them a long way back to the Super Bowl. The only thing is injuries, that Lane Johnson now is out for about 4 to 6 weeks. He has what they call a Liz Frank sprain in his foot. Liz Frank. Sounds like some gossip column that we read in the newspaper every day. Ask Liz Frank. Liz Frank sprain. Apparently it's pretty bad. It's going to keep him out for a while. So the Eagles are going to have to, weather the storm, so to speak. And, you lose a player like Lane Johnson, it's going to hurt you. So you just have to do the best you can to get through it. And here's the thing. The Eagles, it's very important, as we saw Sunday. Sunday's the perfect example. The Eagles have to get the number one bye in the NFC in order to have a really clear path to the Super Bowl. You saw on Sunday, these teams like the Detroit Lions, who are usually good when they're at home, they can't play outside the dome. They play in a dome. When you get them outside in the cold, in the wind, in Philadelphia in January, they're not going to do it. They can't do it. Look at Jared Goff, the quarterback. He was like a fish out of water, He was all discombobulated out there on the field. He didn't know what the hell to do. And, that's the way it is with these teams. The Rams, good team, but they play in a dome. Controlled environment. They're not used to being outside. Rams, who else? The Buccaneers don't play in a dome, but they're a warm weather city. You get them up here in the cold and the wind, and maybe the snow. Maybe it'll snow in January up here in Philly. I hope it does, because that just gives the Eagles another advantage. You get these teams out of their element, and they wilt. They wilt. So that's the day. That's why it's important for the Eagles to rack up as many victories as they can during the regular season in order to get the home field So, uh, the Eagles, the way they're playing, am I concerned about the offense? Sure I am. And now you got Lane Johnson's going to be up. They still only scored 16 points against Green Bay. They had the ball down there many times, and they had to settle for field goals. That's not going to do it. I worry about this offensive coordinator, Kevin Petula, whatever the hell his name is. He's got to wake up. What I see is a lot of vanilla play call. It's all right. It's all right. But he's got to do better. He's got to be a little bit more imaginative with his play call. The guy on NBC, I can't stand his guts, Chris Collinsworth, but he was right. He was right Sunday. When Jalen Hurts runs the ball, the Eagles overall, their offense is more effective. When he runs the ball, and he hasn't been running the ball as much this year. Maybe the Eagles are telling him, don't run, we don't want you to get hurt before the playoffs, blah, 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 which is true, but the Eagles just aren't the Eagles without Jalen Hurts running the ball. It opens everything up. When Jalen Hurts runs the ball, it gives the defense another thing to think about. They can't just focus on Saquon Barkley running the ball. They have to worry about Jalen Hurts turning it around the corner and scampering for 20 yards, right? So it opens up the passing game. It opens up for A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. So the Eagles have to get back to stuff, So even though I'm happy that they won on Sunday, yes, a win is a win is a win, and any win in the National Football League is good. But I'm still concerned about the offense. The defense is playing great, just great. To limit the Lions, a high-scoring team, to 9 points for the whole game is great. They limited the Packers to 7 points. They keep playing like this, it's gonna be moved in. I mean, the combination of that defense, and you get it outdoors, a home game in Philadelphia in January. It's just what it reminds me of? New England. You remember when New England had Tom Brady, and every year they had home field advantage because every year they won their division, and they had the best record in the AFC, which meant that the Super Bowl had to go through New England, where it's cold and snowy there. You never know in January. That's why the Patriots had a better chance to make the playoffs than any other team in the AFC, because they always had home field advantage, along with Tom Brady. So speaking of Tom Brady, I'm still flabbergasted about Tom Brady's dog. In case you didn't hear about it, Tom Brady's new dog, it's about 2 years ago, is a clone of his old dog. A clone. And, I don't know, it's just sort of creepy to me, having the same dog. I don't know, there's just something about it that bothers me, clone, he's a clone. They had to take some blood from the old dog before the dog died in order to clone the dog into its, how could I say, duplication. What do you call that? A brother? What do you call it? I don't know. Can you imagine that? Tom Brady doing that, other members of his like his grandfather. There's like a guy in his 90s, he's ready to die. And Tom Brady goes, Grandpa, we need a little blood from you. Why, sonny? Well, we're going to clone you, okay? After you croak, we're going to clone you, and then we'll have the old grandpa back again. Well, I don't want to be cloned. Please don't clone me. No, you got to do this. You got to give us some blood. Give us some blood, Grandpa. Oh, my God, Anyway, getting back to things. I think the Eagles are going to be okay. They got to stay away from injuries, but they got to refine their offense. They got to score a little bit more than 16 points a game, boys. And I think the Eagles are going to be okay. So I still said it's the era of the repeat, right? The Florida Panthers, they repeated as Stanley Cup champions. The Los Angeles Dodgers, they repeated as World Series champions. Why can't the Phillies? They're not the Phillies. What the hell am I saying? It's Christ, the Phillies. Phillies haven't even won one. The hell, Eagles. Why can't the Eagles repeat, right? All these other teams are doing it. Why can't the Eagles do it? The Eagles can do it. And I think the Eagles will do it. And, what I said before the season started was Super Bowl, Eagles, Baltimore Ravens. And I still hold to that. The Ravens started 1-5, but they're now 5-5. They've righted the ship. I still think Eagles, Ravens, or this is my A1, A2, or Eagles, Buffalo Bills. I still think that. Yeah, because the Chiefs are in trouble. Okay. The Chiefs are 2 games in back of the Broncos in their division. 3 games, I think. Yeah. Plus the Broncos have beat them the first week. So the Chiefs better be lucky that if they make the playoffs. The old thing is living up. I believe in this. The loser of the Super Bowl often has trouble the following year, not only getting back to the Super Bowl, but making the playoffs. That might happen again. The Chiefs are in trouble. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, not Taylor Swift, her boyfriend, Travis Kelce, might be sitting at home. Well, Travis Kelce won't care. He's going to be with Taylor Swift. What does he care, right? He already made his money, already won some Super Bowls. He's going to be okay. Andy Reid's the one who's going to be sitting on the couch eating. He's going to be eating Doritos. Well, watching the other teams play. It may happen. It may happen. So anyway, I said Eagles, Ravens, and I'm sticking to it. Eagles, Ravens in the Super Bowl. You heard it from Daddy. So anyway, it's going to be a big game this week. Eagles, Cowboys. Eagles, Dallas is always big. I don't care. Even if one of them sucks like Dallas does, it's still a big game. Eagles, Dallas is only 2 times a year, maybe 3 if they meet in the playoffs, but usually 2 times a year, and it's always a big deal. Dallas week is always big. Now, Dallas played last night. They won. They beat the stinky Raiders. And, the Eagles should go down there and crush them. They should. But, and I'm not making a prediction on this game until later in the week. I'll be back. We'll talk about Eagles, Cowboys. But this could be a tricky game because you're playing down in Dallas. Eagles always have trouble. And they beat them again. Cowboys are still, revenge. Eagles beat them the first time this year. And Cowboys really need the game to have a chance for the playoffs. And they're still playing on emotion. Last night, I picked the Cowboys to win because tragically they had one of their players died this last week. And a lot of sports is emotion. It really is. Emotion won't win you games or win you championships, but it does help. It gives you that extra little boost. And that's what happened last night. The Cowboys were playing a lot on emotion. And it's going to be the first home game back for Dallas since this player committed suicide. That's it. Cowboys could be riding on emotion again. So I don't know. We'll see. The week will go on. I'll be back on to give you my prediction. But I don't think it's going to be an easy game there. Dak Prescott is playing very well. He's 4 touchdown passes again last night. So I don't think it's going to be easy. Let's hope the Eagles beat them, though. As I said, every victory is important in the regular season. It goes toward your playoff status. And let's see what happens, right? But with all that said, everybody said, Eagles, they won't be hungry enough. They're not going to win the division twice in a row. Nobody has since 2004. Eagles are not going to be in the mix this year. Well, guess what? As we stand right now, Eagles are 8-2. They've got the best record in football, along with the Rams. And, the Eagles beat the Rams over this year. The Broncos, the Patriots. What a surprise that is, huh? The Patriots are back. So, the point is that the Eagles are in the mix. The Eagles very well could get back to the Super Bowl and win the damn Super Bowl. So we'll see what happens, right? Phillies. We're going to start hearing some news now. Because, today's the day that all these players who got qualifying offers from their own team, they either have to accept or deny. Now, if they deny, they go back into the pool for the free agent pool. And now teams can start signing players. For instance, last night, the Mariners re-signed first baseman Josh Naylor. A good player. Good with the glove, hits, has a little power. It would be nice for the Phillies. Move Bryce Harper to the outfield. But I'm okay with Bryce Harper staying first base. But for instance, Josh Naylor accepted the qualifying role to stay with Seattle, and that's where he's going to be for the next. So now's the action, because after Thanksgiving, around early December, winter meetings started. During those 4 days in Florida or wherever the hell they're meeting, a lot of trades, free agent signings, all day long for 4 days. That's the hot stuff. That's baseball heaven as far as I'm concerned down there. So get ready. Buckle your seatbelts. I hear yesterday the Phillies let it be known that they want to bring Harrison Bader back to the team. Harrison Bader's people said, we hear you. Okay, we hear you. But we want to see what's out there. Now, we want to see if a team blows us away in free agency, gives us maybe a 3 or 4 year contract or something, with a lot of money. But I think the Phillies would do well to bring him back. One, because he brought a lot of energy to the team, a lot of enthusiasm, and he did well. He's still an elite defender in the outfield, Gold Glove caliber. He hit 17 homers. He did well. He did very well last year, sharing the year between the Twins and in the Phillies. So I think they could play him. Here's what I would do with Harrison Bader. I would platoon him in left field with Brandon Marsh. Brandon Marsh is an okay player against right-handed pitching. Against lefties, not so good. I would play Marsh against right-handers and Harrison Bader against left-handers. So you still have the defense in left field, and you still have the offensive punch. Now, if the Phillies start off the year with Justin Crawford, the young kid in center field, because I think that's what they like to do. That's great. Hopefully he is the everyday center fielder for the Phillies for 10 or more years. But in case he kind of struggles in center field, you've got Harrison Bader to slide over to center field to fill out the year. And I don't want to see like Johan Rojas back there. He's a good. I think they're going to trade him. I think he's going to be put in the package somewhat, and he's going to go. So, you know what? What I would do, this is what I would do if I was Dave Dombrowski and I was in the Phillies general manager position. I would say to Baltimore, look, 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 I will trade you Andrew Pater. See, I'm not that scared to trade Andrew Pater. I mean, yes, he could be a great pitcher, but he's only what, 22. And you're like, all right, Zach Wheeler's going to be retiring sooner than later. You need an ace. Put Andrew Pater in there. I'm not that high on Andrew Pater yet. I haven't seen him. He hasn't done it in the big leagues, okay? From what I hear, and down on the farm after he came back from the Tommy John surgery, he's not as good. Now maybe he's just easing his way into it again, but his fastball isn't as fast, and he's not as good. So you would trade an unknown in Andrew Pater to the Orioles, who need young pitching, and you throw in like a Johan Rojas because the Orioles are looking for a center fielder. And they would take a chance with Rojas. Rojas is only, what, 23 or something? He fits the bill. And you say, all right, Orioles, I want Ashley Rushman, the catcher. If we're going to trade you our top young pitcher, Andrew Pater, you got to give us Adley Rushman. That way, Adley Rushman's 27. He's a switch hitter. He's solid behind the plate. He can run. He has power. He could be your catcher for the next 8 to 10 years. That way, you don't have to sign JT. You let him go. You save some money. You got your catcher, which to me is just as important as a pitcher, a young pitcher. Because that catcher he's going to lead your defense. He's going to lead your team. Just like JT did. So that's what I would do. I would trade Pater and Rojas to the Orioles for Adley Rushman. And right there, you improve your team. You don't have to sign JT. You can use that money to bring Kyle Schwarber back, or even Ranger. I don't think you would bring Ranger back. I think Ranger's bye-bye, Ranger. But if they trade Andrew Pater, maybe the Phillies think twice about that and bring Ranger back. Yeah, this whole thing can have a domino effect. Yeah, that's what I would do. So even if you don't include Pater in the deal, the Phillies ought to do everything possible to get Adley Rushman. Because look at it this way. The Orioles have a young stud coming up named Basillo, Samuel Basillo. And he's supposed to be the stud catcher. They're saying he could also play first base in case they keep Rushman. All right, fine. But think about it. The Orioles' #1 draft pick last year was a catcher. And they also drafted another catcher, I believe, in the second or third round. But why is Baltimore drafting all these catchers if they're so happy with Andy Rushman, right? There's something behind it. So I don't think they're happy with Andy Rushman. I think in the right deal, they would trade him. And I think the Phillies have to contact Baltimore and say, before we re-sign JT Realmuto, we want to check out if Adley Rushman is available. What will it take, Baltimore, for us to make that deal? You want us to throw in Alec Bohm? Fine, we'll throw Alec Bohm in the deal. You know, to me, getting a solid catcher is a very, very important thing. You heard the old adage, strong up the middle. All the Phillies championship teams in the past, strong up the middle. Catcher, Bob Boone, 1980, 2008. Chico, Carlos Luis. What was it? Chico? Not Chico. What the hell? Ruiz, you know. I'll think of it in a minute. Second base shortstop. Back in 1980. Manny Trio, Larry Boa. 2008. Chase Utley. Jimmy Rollins, right? Center field, 1980, Gary Maddox, the Secretary of Defense. 2008, Shane the Flying Hawaiian Victorino. You get it? You get my point? Strong up the middle. And the Phillies would be strong up the middle if they had Rushton, Trey Turner, Bryson Stott, who I think they should keep, and the center fielder, Justin Crawford or Harrison Bader, or whatever. Strong up the middle. So that's what I think the Phillies should do. Before they do anything else, try to get Ashley. I'll get off my high horse about Ashley Rush. If the Phillies get it, I'm going to have to learn how to spell his freaking name. You know, I can remember shit like, who's the center fielder for the Phillies in 1980, but I can't remember what I had for breakfast. That's what happens when you have a birthday. I just had a birthday over the weekend. I turned 118. I look pretty good for 118. Anyway, so that's my spiel. That's my spiel to that. I will be back again. I will be back later in the week. We're gonna talk Eagles. We're gonna break down Eagles Cowboys like we always do. Talk about famous Eagles Cowboys encounters in the past. Have you ever been to an Eagles Dallas game? Oh, lordy, lordy. Oh, I've been to a few. It's always, no matter what, like I said, Cowboys suck, good. It's always a special game because it's Eagles Dallas. And you want to beat Dallas. Anything else can happen during the year, just beat Dallas, beat Dallas. So it's a big game. And we'll talk about it later in the week. Who knows, by Thursday and Friday, maybe the Phillies will get off their asses and make a move. We don't know. Sixers, well, who cares? But they did win last night. They did win last night. That little Tyrese Maxey, what a player he is, huh? What a player he is. And I said a couple years ago, keep this boy. You know, the thing is, they were all like, what's his name on the Sixers, the general manager, the fat guy, but whatever. He wanted to trade Tyrese Maxey. I said, what the hell are you doing? Don't trade Tyrese Maxey. He is someone, a player that can build him. He has skills unlike too many other people in the NBA. Yeah, there he goes, scored 39 again, right? So, you know, I should be general manager for some of these teams. In the wintertime, I could be GM for the Sixers. In the summertime, I could be GM for the Phillies. Okay? I'll take big jobs. What the hell? And, you know, I don't want to do Howie Roseman's job for the Eagles because he's doing fine as it is. Nobody can fill in for Howie. Nobody. Not even me. So anyway, so we'll be back later in the week. We'll celebrate more birthdays. You know what I'm thinking too? I'm thinking we haven't had any movie of the week or TV series of the week. That we, back in the good old days, we used to talk about movie of the week, and it would get a lot of my highest viewership on this fine podcast that I've been doing for a couple of years now. Get a lot of people watching when I would talk about a favorite movie or a favorite TV series. I think we're going to do it. Later in the week, I'm going to pick a movie, I'm going to pick a TV series, and we're going to break that down. And we're going to talk. How's that? How's them apples? Before I go, a little self-promotion. Yes, my book is out, Stronger Than Bone. Apparently, it's doing well. I hope people enjoy it. I hope they read it. And if you do, please leave a review on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or wherever, and I would appreciate it. Okay? I think it's a good read. And don't forget, Christmas is coming up, and it would make a fine and inexpensive present for someone out there that you love. Someone who's gone through a challenge in life, maybe a little pick me up, a little hope, a little inspiration. You send them the book via PDF on your Kindle or whatever. Soon it'll be out as an audio book, so you can listen to it in the car. Who else? What more of a family vacation do you want next summer than piling into your station wagon? Do they even exist anymore? I don't know. Piling into your station wagon like Chevy Chase and going across the country and listening to my book. Huh? Huh? Oh my God, that's a trip in itself. A trip in itself. Maybe that's what we should have said. Strong and Abode, and in parentheses under the title, A Trip in Itself. Anyway, I hope you do get it. And yeah, it's a very inexpensive gift. Give it to grandma for Christmas. What the hell? She won't know. I said the other day, tell her you paid $99.95 for this book, and she won't know. All right, everybody. Peace and love. I'll see you soon. Take care. All right. Go Birds and go Phillies. Do the right thing, Phillies. Once, damn it. Do I have to come down there and do your job for you? Because I will. I'll come down there. All right, everybody. Take care. See you. See you soon. Bye.